Hey guys, it's Rourke. So this video is pretty much how I overcame the fear of death and the story behind it. So pretty much this starts on an evening in January 2020. Basically, I was going to bed one night and suddenly I saw this tunnel of light above my head and my body like either had a heart attack or mimicked a heart attack because I had like chest pain, shortness of breath. It was moving, and I saw a tunnel of light and I was like, what the fuck? So after that, for some reason, the chest pains and the shortness of breath didn't stop and it became like a chronic condition. I freaking never dealt with anything like that before, so I guess my body was just met with like pure panic and terror, and thinking I was just gonna die over and over and over, and thinking, oh, when's my heart gonna stop? Like I became terrified of my own heart. Like, man, like if you're terrified of your own heart and you hyper focus on that shit, man, that is so freaking scary when you can't stop. Like, the fact that that is gone and I can smoke weed like it never happened 5.5 years ago, like, still blows my mind today, really. Like, because I was just in pure panic, like, nonstop, every day, and, for 9 months, started dissociating from reality and, not feeling real as a person, you know, felt like I never existed, like I was never born. It was pretty screwed up. And I started to like get really bad paranoid delusions. Like I thought everyone was out to get me and kill me. Like I'd be walking, suddenly this person would show up and I would think this person was gonna like stab me on the sidewalk as I'm walking by, or this car's gonna like shoot me up. Like my thought, the voice in my brain would just instantly go there, like as much as possible, like worst case scenario, and cause me to like panic and think I'm about to die, and it got to the point where like I would go for walks every day and I'd be by a cliff and it would feel like my spirit was falling off the cliff, and all I felt was just the fear of imminent death, like and the feeling of falling while I'm like right by the cliff, and it like just super freaking was a super fucked up delusion, for paranoid delusion for sure. And eventually, after a few months of going for these walks, it got worse, and it started to feel like I was shooting up into the sky and then falling to my death every time I walked outside. And I'm like, fuck, I have to face this. Like, I can't live inside the rest of my life, So I just faced it, and I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna shoot up into the sky and then fall to my death. But the feelings and the terror, like, kind of convinced me otherwise. Like, I didn't know what to believe because of the terror. And fuck, it was every time I went outside, horrible. It was like that for 9 months. And like anything I would read, like about conditions, it's like I would manifest those conditions. Like severe hypochondria too, like, and then I don't know, I just committed to myself one day, I'm like, there's gotta be a way out of this, like. And something that stuck with me is that, the way out of something like this, out of this fear, must be like somehow overcoming the fear of death, because I'm like, if I overcame the fear of death, then I would have nothing to panic about. because death wouldn't be relevant with my fear anymore, right? So I tried to learn as much as I could every day, and one day I came across Dr. Joe Dispenza, and freaking mosquitoes, he pretty much helped me understand, like, kind of how my thought processes were working, and, you know, like, how your thoughts create how you feel, right? And, like, there was more to it. I can't remember everything he said, but, like, that's a decent piece of it. And when you freaking really focus on just changing your state of mind and your thought processes to, like, a more loving place that you create and put time into actually building, and, like, how I did that eventually was just through, like, anxiety affirmations and stuff like that, trying to incorporate what I was learning from those affirmations and then putting it into my own words in meditation. And then eventually, you know, I started to feel what I was saying, and, you know, it just became a part of me, I guess, right? And, you know, I started building myself up. And as I kept listening to the videos, I just started to process reality and freaking mosquitoes, man. Process reality in a bit of a different way. Like, I just realized, like, I have to go inside, and, you know, it's all about my thoughts. So I just have to plant these seeds inside, repeat them every day, and grow them. And then, you know, like, eventually, keep putting in the work and committing, eventually it'll grow out of the dirt. And then if you plant enough thought processes that you need in life, that you can get through just affirmations and incorporating it in meditation, you can really start to, you know, flip the script from, like, negative to positive. And, you know, you can start facing things that you couldn't before, because you're, like, building structure within inside of yourself, and you're just, I don't know, getting more clear with yourself and your own understanding, right? Like, as you get more awareness of, like, what you want to become, it really locks you in for the process of healing. And once you just die for the process and just go to no end, eventually you'll reach a point where you break through that wall of fear and you reach the other side of that wall, right? And what's on the other side of that wall is not something a lot of people touch, right? Because fear is scary. So most of us, our first, what's that word? Our first decision is to hide from fear, right? And not face it, because what good would that do for us? Because we don't know anything about why God would make fear and why it can go out of balance and stuff like that, right? Like, we have to figure it out, you know? We have to learn how the thought processes work and how trauma can affect those, and how you can make your own thought processes from the seed and then grow them, and then they can eventually override the old ones, especially if they're based on fear, shit you grew up on, you know? Sometimes new ways of thinking can override old, and you start shifting into new versions of yourself, and start seeing yourself in a different light more and more and more. And eventually, once it happens, like, once you just reach that moment, it just, I don't know, goes away, you know? And suddenly it just takes over, like, the new you. And, you know, without panic, you just feel like a new person, and, you know, you can just enjoy life, like, for the first time again. And you just want to show the world how you feel, and But I realize that's harder said than done, because not everyone believes that sort of thing, right? That's even possible. But trust me, if you end something like chronic panic to no end and you never think it might even end, and then it does, frick, man, imagine how that would make someone feel even 5.5 years after that happened. And that's where I am today. And it kind of sucks. I feel like a lot of people don't really understand because they just don't listen, they don't hear my full story. I'll tell them about what I went through, or I'll start, and then they'll just be like, oh, don't talk about that, that's bad. But I'm like, yeah, but I turned it into something good. You need the full story, not just the good shit. Come on. And then they just shut me down, and then I'm supposed to keep my story to myself. Come on. I can smoke weed without panic now. Are you freaking kidding me? And this is after what I did for myself, really committing to the process and just dying for it, going to no end, panic came for me to no end, so I tried to heal myself to no end. That was my vision when I was sick. I'm just gonna die for the process, and I actually survived, and I came out a way mentally, emotionally stronger person, more resilient. If I have a bad trip, or if I get too high on weed, I can stay content. I can just go to my safe place and the structure I've built within my thought structures, and it just puts me in my safe place, and reminds me, oh yeah, I built this, and it's powerful if you're having a bad trip or whatever. If you do something like that and you actually have gotten through really terrifying experiences, you know how to do it, right? To get through something like that. And the thing is too, I haven't had a nightmare in 6 years since this panic shit went away. Not a single nightmare. I don't dream much, but I'm addicted to weed still. That's one thing. But before the panic disorder or whatever, I freaking was having nightmares pretty frequently, weird ones, me running in a dark forest away from a dude, and then he catches me eventually, and then it's the shadow version of me catching me. And I'm I didn't understand it back then, but I'm okay. So that, in the aftermath of what I went through, I'm okay, so something is going to come for me that is hidden in my life that I haven't brought to my awareness. And it's going to try to kill me. And yeah, no, that was one. There was another dream about me in a car, and it was driving, but I was in the passenger seat, and I would drive into the water every time, and it would be I would drown every time. It was fucked, but now I'm the driver of my own thought processes, I guess. So now I have nothing to fear, right? Because I'm the driver of my life now, of my mentality. And it really gives perspective with a lot of shit, if you really think about it. Play this video over and over and over, you'll probably realize more things, in what I'm saying. You'll notice patterns. And the thing is too, I'm trying to think about another nightmare that I had. Being at a river like this, and a freaking huge ass tsunami coming, end of the world, flood, tsunami, right? In a nightmare, and it would just engulf me every time. But I remember the terror in that nightmare every time. And this is before all that panic stuff started with weed and all that. Think about what else here. I swear there was another one. No, I think that's it. Yeah, just water dreams about drowning, and then that other one. Yeah. But I don't know. Hopefully that can just like give you some perspective of how God can work through dreams, you know? Like, it's kind of interesting. Anyways, hoping this kind of gives you guys some perspective of how to overcome the fear of death. Please subscribe, like, comment. Love to hear from you guys. And I tried to post every few days, but going through ups and downs right now, you know, trying to find a job and yeah, figuring it out. But you know, doing my best, and got an interview tomorrow, so hopefully that goes well. And yeah, no, I'm really definitely hopeful and still have a lot of faith, you know, in my future, even though I did get laid off in April, but it's all good, you know. Keep my hopes up, do my best, and you know, I know sometimes God puts us through things to make us stronger, right? And maybe me not having a job was God warning me that I'm taking it too easy, and I'm just throwing away what I used to do for myself when I was actually sick, you know? And that kind of hit me. So now I'm trying to do more of what I used to do, like running, freaking doing. I guess I don't really need to reframe because say my perceptions are pretty on point. But you know, just running, working out, eating good, talking to people, you know, all the important stuff. But yeah, like I said, hope this helps somebody, and yeah, until next time, peace.